Hello, Professor Tornoy, Mr. Kim, and fellow students. My name is Yoon Tae-hoon, the last presenter. I thank you all for listening to our group presentation. Tulips, trees, windmill, and bicycle. What comes into your mind when I just said these words? Yes, that is correct. The nouns that I just mentioned are the most significant characteristics to describe the country Netherlands. I was raised and educated in Netherlands in a very young stage of life, so I was able to naturally learn English. Many say that I'm a very lucky person. However, there were many difficulties in terms of learning English back in Korea and also maintaining my Korean ability. Since I was abroad when I was 7 and came back when I was 12, I was prone to forget my English because I was too young. And also, catching my lagging Korean skills was also another struggle for me. However, currently, as a university student, I have overcome such difficulties, and I'm still studying English harder than the native Koreans. That is why today, I wish to share some practical information on how I maintained my English abilities in terms of scientific research. First, I would want to talk about the aspects of speaking. Second, I would like to talk about the aspects of reading in terms of maintaining and improving my English. First, I would like to talk about the speaking aspects. What do you think is the most important factor in terms of speaking? Many of you might think it is vocabulary or grammar in order to comprehend and speak English. However, for me, I say it is courage. It might sound a bit far-fetched. However, there is a close relationship between courage and one's speaking ability. According to a very well-known social psychologist named Kim Jong-un, it's not Kim Jong-un, he has made a statistical research on that Koreans actually are 5 times more conscious to the awareness of other people. By this, Korean people hesitate in order to speak in front of others, and this has a direct relationship between our speaking abilities in English. To my experience, when I was in Netherlands, I was the only Korean at that very school, and frankly, I was afraid to speak up. And I was afraid. However, I overcame my fears, and even though my English was very, very poor, I tried hard to overcome such difficulties. And after I came back to Korea, and as a college student, I did not stop to improve my English skills. Thus, I attended a debate session, and also I went to a debate competition in order to prove my confidence and my courage. That is why I stand here at this very moment. If I have kept silent, this would be impossible for me to do right now. And that is all I want to talk about my speaking skills in English, as my experience. Next is about reading. I dare say everyone here present has taken at least more than once in an English proficiency test. To the survey of 2012, over 200 million Korean students have taken an English proficiency test. This proves that our society demands a certain grade. Corporations require a certain grade in recruiting, and even in universities, they require students to have a certain grade in order to graduate. Thus, we have no choice but to mechanically memorize endless vocabularies which will be long forgotten in our memory, and consequently, it would not help us in our English ability. According to a book titled Memory, How It Works and How to Improve It, by Kenneth L. Higby, a PhD in brain science in Harvard, he has stated that by memorizing a vocabulary through a context and interrelating it with a story, can actually make a short-term memory into a long-term memory, which you can remember at any time you want to. And also, he has conducted an experiment and stated that 8 out of 10 people who has memorized through a context recall the memory in a three-month period, meaning that the long-term memory has turned into a short-term memory has turned into a long-term memory. As to relate this to my experience in how I studied my English in my college days, I always read English novels and texts while I was studying reading. I never hesitated to read a book which was far behind my level. For example, when I was in college, I actually read Harry Potter, which English elementary school reads it, but I didn't feel any shame because I had a strong confidence that reading itself has a fundamental key factor in increasing my English skills. I read the book thoroughly, word by word, underlining every single word that I did not know. It took a very long time. However, after reading it, the context and the words itself were tied together in a strong bond that I still can recall the memories right now. Until now, I have talked about the importance of courage in terms of speaking, and second, how important it is to read through context in order to memorize a vocabulary which will ultimately help one's reading ability in English. Winston Churchill once said that courage is what it takes to stand up and speak, and also courage is what it takes to sit down and listen. I hope everyone could have the courage to speak up, to speak English, and to maintain their speaking skills, and also sit down and listen carefully what English actually means to you. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.